It's the Jim Fannin Show. We've come to take your mind.
Am I still on? Here we go. I guess you can call this a pop-up because we didn't announce it. AJ, I call him Mr. Andy Jean, is in the house. The links are in the show description. Buckle up and welcome aboard.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Ow, there we go. See, my guests can't hear the producer's got to get on. Oh, he missed it. Oh, the producer missed it. He ran to M Factor. Thanks, Matt McPherson and Jay Beatty, for the intro music. Here is the man himself. He is over here on the YouTube. He's over here at the B12 Store. He's over here at the. My mouse is really giving me a. Kinga J305 is Mr. Andy Jean on the Instagram. Here's his link tree, and then his fake book is over here. And I should have a dedicated Zoom window, but I haven't got there yet, so I'm doing this and moving you around. Oh, this is a weak open. Here we go. That's my man right there, Mr. Andy Jean, looking. Well, I'm like going to say, you look pimp the other day. You walked in your Gucci shoes, no socks, and got
Recording in progress.
Got a nice tan for a black guy and that pimp shirt. And then your wife came in and just buried you. I thought you were looking like 10 out of 10. I don't throw 10s around, but your outfit was a 10. Okay. You know, it brings your general score up. But then your wife walked in and dude, you look like a 3 standing next to her. Oh, you're on mute still, bro.
Absolutely.
There you go.
No, I'm just absorbing it in, right? It's just my reality, right, Jim? Thank you very much for that solid 3.
Yeah,
I'll take that anytime when I'm next to my wife.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. She's just, she's definitely a breath of fresh air for me. And she definitely makes me look good. So thanks, man, for that intro. What's up, man?
We're just killing it. It was good to see you in the office today. I'm not spending a whole lot of time there because, I mean, it's a social hub. Like, there's so many people that walk through that place, you know, and I can't wait till we open our next office and we've got, like, dedicated booths where we can go and, like, be private and have conversations. Because in there, it's a big room, right? And you get a couple people talking in there, and it's just
it's becoming mayhem. Call it what it is.
It's crazy. I love it. And broadcasting from there was
mayhem.
awesome because people would walk in on me as I was broadcasting. I either cut the feed or whatever, but I tried to keep them off the camera. So it's good to have you back. I know you spent some time back in the States again. So I know we've gone through this before, but this is kind of a second time around for us. And I think it's important, especially with you in kind of a transition and still on the same road that you've been on for a long time. Just take as long as you need. I'm going to put you on full screen and mute my video and take as long as you need to tell us about who you are, how you got here, maybe, you know, where you come from. Give us some family background. Like, you know, we want to know like the stock that you come from, and then, and why you doing this, man? Why you here? And what's up, man? You tell me everything. Go as long as you want, man. More of you and less of me is a good Jim Fannin show always. So you just hit it, my boy.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Now, first and foremost, I wanna extend my appreciation to your listeners, your audience, also my friends and family that is watching. I want to say thank you for even having a platform to be able to speak on little old me, right? Who's Andy Jean, right? Me personally, I could tell you, born in the islands, Bahamas. I would say I'm an island boy, so I'm used to fishing my own food and climbing trees and drinking coconut.
Every time you say island boy, I hear those two who got island boy.
Oh, no.
That's who I hear right away as soon as you say island boy.
That's island experiment right there. No, definitely not different. And also, I must admit that, I was able to start off in the Bahamas, and I would say I migrated to the United States of America and finished my education and, attended school there. And I would say that definitely propelled me into entrepreneurism. But who I am, I have a mom and dad who loves me to death. Not the most educated folks. They basically came from humble beginnings. And I would say those humble beginnings, watching them work hard and seeing what they had to do to put me in the position that I'm in, I'm very, very grateful for them. Their hardship is basically the pillar, I would say, of strength of this family, the Jean family. But a little bit about my business or my status acumen in the U.S. I started off, just like any person in the company. I was an intern, and I used my internship to start learning more about business, because my passion when I started college was to go into business. And unfortunately, I started business school, but as a foreign student, I couldn't really afford to complete it. However, I was able to take my experience from the islands, and also my father, who was very instrumental in my life, an entrepreneur who would always admit that he's never worked for an institution in his life. And not to say he's never had employment or made income, it's just that he was a strong believer of the law of supply and demand. So he subscribed to that. He's always believed if there's a need or if there's a void, he can be a solution giver or fill in that void. So I've adapted that mindset. He would go into a restaurant and calculate every table. If there's 4 people at this table and each plate is at $8 a person, you multiply that, you can make X amount of dollars an hour, X amount of dollars a week, X amount of dollars a month, and it would always accumulate to perhaps making more money than some of our professionals that we have a lot of love and respect for. Not to say we put down our professionals, it's just that 1 + 1 is 2, right? And so I would say entrepreneurism for me has been the escape from traditional employment. So I started my first small business, I would say at a very young age, probably in my early 20s. I entered the marketing space and being able to sell ads for businesses. And from there, selling ads to businesses for marketing purposes, you start to build relationships. And relationship is something we'll be talking a lot more later on, Jim, but I just want to really stick out and say relationship is a big thing. And one of the things that I would say entrepreneurs will allow me to do, I would say almost effortlessly, is to build relationships. And those relationships, as you adhere, as you build them, will end up being, your income, right? There's a saying, your net work will determine your net worth. And I'm a strong believer of that. So if you're not able to build relationships, have something phenomenal to offer to people as far as solutions, then you're unable to duplicate yourself. And if you don't have something worthy of duplication, then it's impossible for you to really get into the ranks of becoming very successful. So that's a little bit about my background. Primary business was in the health space. I was in physical therapy. And from there, I migrated into the financial sector. And I just want to almost close it on this note. Divorce can teach you a lot, Jim. So, divorce can teach you a lot.
So can getting married.
I would say that's when my life really started.
I don't know if you heard that. Oh man, you hit on some good stuff there, and I'm popping off while you're talking, which means we're going to have a decent conversation. Maybe maybe not 8 out of 10, but maybe a 7, 8. When I hear you talking about school, and this is I've never spoken these words before. So it's kind of like how we think. Jordan Peterson says, without talking and expressing ourselves and talking to someone else and getting feedback, we can't think. We can't get our ideas tempered and molded, right? While I'm listening to you, in the background, I'm thinking, school? No. Get in the workforce immediately. School's useless. It's an indoctrination camp. They teach you garbage in school. When we look at schools today, and it's shocking what they're not teaching our children. So I say school, why, first of all. And then I had this thought, you're talking about, I always knew that I wanted to be in business. In school, I knew I wanted to be in business. And immediately I'm like, well, shouldn't everyone in school be thinking, when I leave here, I should be in business? Like, how many people are going through school thinking, oh, I can't wait to get out of here so I can go work in the steel mill? I think everyone should come out of school. By the time grade 12 should be your thesis should be opening a corporation, starting a company, opening a holding company. So every dollar you make once you get out of school, it has better tax advantages because you can run your expenses through your business, your dry cleaning, your gas, your rent, everything. Everyone should have a business. And I think you should come out of school with the idea that you're going to run your own business. And then if you fail, at least you've got your holding company, you've got tax advantages, and you could always fall back on it later. And if you have to go to work for someone else, at least you've got the experience. At least you tried to make it on your own first. We don't coach in entrepreneurship enough. And I heard you say that a couple times, and it just rang my bell. I heard entrepreneurship, which we don't teach in schools. I heard relationships. That usually should come from the family, how to treat people, how important are the relationships in your life. And then in business, I want to deal with everyone, and I want to be known as a guy that has integrity, that shows up on time with no excuses. It wasn't my kids. No, you didn't leave the house early enough. Like, I remember my first real estate appointment, and I'm there 20 after 1 for a 1 o'clock appointment, and I'm burning mad. Right? It's 20 minutes out of my time. My time is valuable, and I thought, I'll never do this to my client. I'll never make anyone wait for me like this, because I don't want to start off shaking somebody's hand and they're already on fire for me because, I'm always late. Well, not with me, you're not, or we're not doing business. So integrity, number one. And then if you can't be of service, like serve in the traditional, I don't know, I hate to say this, but in the Christian way, you know what I mean? Like, serve your fellow man, whether you're getting paid or not. Service is number one, or in there, top 3. And then value. Anything that you do, if you bring value to the table, you will get paid. Not only will you get paid well. And that kind of speaks to my lack of monetization in my YouTube channel and doing interviews like this, because I guess I'm not providing value. If I was, then I would be at a different level. I'm not saying it's in the cards for me or whatever. I'm concentrating on real estate down here. So I said a lot there, but you get where I'm going. Just give me your thoughts on what we're doing to our kids in school, how we're not preparing them for reality. How, could we teach them Think and Grow Rich before they leave high school, please? It's pretty simple. I could teach the course. I don't follow the, I'm really bad at applying it in my life. My discipline has something to be desired, but could we at least get them to run through Napoleon Hill, the greatest book ever written? Like the most important, beside the Bible, it's the most important book ever for getting along in life. Okay, I said enough.
I have a little gift for you. It's so funny because I had an opportunity less than a month ago to interview the new president of the Think and Grow Rich fan club, basically, the Institute.
Where is he?
Napoleon Hill, of course. He's I have a little gift. As a matter of fact, I have a special copy of Napoleon Hill's private and personal article.
Set me up with that interview.
Satoshi.
I want that.
I have it for you.
Okay, good.
But before I show you the book, because I'm sure you want to see it, I want to go ahead and dive into what you said about education and our kids. You're absolutely correct, Jim. That's one of the foundational things that I think that has been missing in the school. And I'm not going to jump into the politics, but there's a gentleman who runs the state in which I'm in, the state of Florida, Mr. DeSantis. And one of the things that I must say that I really appreciate he did recently is before you finish high school, he wants to make sure that you have some certification in budgeting, understanding financials, and of course, understanding credit, right? And if you look at business, and we're going to jump into finances in a few, you're going to see how important learning financials is important, right, for your personal. And like you said, if you were to go into business, understanding the advantages of deductions, write-offs, being able to operate under the umbrella of a company and still be able to be yourself and be very profitable. Also, one of the things the state of Florida now is going to implement is you understand the power of credit. None of those are taught in the public school system. Even in private schools, you're not taught this. If you're not lucky to have parents like mine, or you've raised in an environment where perhaps survival had to become second nature, then guess what? You wouldn't know anything about it. So imagine you go into the world without armored of financials, not armored in understanding. Like, if I buy this for $1, I can sell it for $1.20. If I'd sell 10 of those, I just made $2 and keep that system going. So you're absolutely right. I teach my kids about business. I teach them whether it's a lemonade stand or these old books, you're no longer using these old books. We're going to sell them, whether it's in the internet or to your friends next door. I teach them entrepreneurship, supply and demand. So Jim, I just wanted to share that. That's my thoughts on that. I can go in deeper, but that's on the surface, absolutely spot on.
Tell us a little bit closer to home then. Patrick's what, 18, 19 years old now? What happened? Where did you go? What happened? You just thought I was just going to carry the show from here on out, or where'd you go?
Oh, no, Jim, my apologies, Jim. My apologies. I went ahead and just clicked on the button. I was waiting for you to speak. I'm sorry. No. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a little closer to home. Patrick's 18?
Yeah, he's 18 years old, correct.
So you've done most of the work with him already. The formative years are where the work is done. So, I mean, you've got what you've got with him. Where are you concentrating on leading him now? What advice are you giving him as far as how you get off the ground, what your direction is, capitalize, this idea, practice what you're not good at. No, practice what you're great at. Get better. Forget what you're not good at. Bury what you're not good at because you don't like it. You're not going to be good at it. Say, well, you might get better. Maybe you'll need some of those skills. But I say, practice your strengths, man. Leave whatever you don't like behind and capitalize on what you do like and what you're good at. So what are you giving to Patrick for advice now that he's 18 years old? He's formed. He's the man he's going to be pretty much now. But now you get to put him into action. You get to see your genetic line spring forth, man. So if nothing else, you've got a legacy there, right? So what are you doing now that he's 18 to kind of keep him straight and keep him focused?
Man, primarily, I put him out in the field. I mean, that's the reality. I put him on the field. I mean, if I've been blessed to have a business, so that means there's a lot of action going on. There's a lot of wheeling and dealing and negotiation. So him being an intern for my company was the first step. Of course, I'm teaching the bears, the most important parts: character, integrity, being a man of your word, being on time is late and being early is on time. So, we've taught him those values. He understands integrity. My word is bond, even with his friends when he's playing basketball and he's your teammate, he's loyal to you to the very end. His goal is to win together. I teach him, about teamwork makes the dream work, right? There's no I in team. He's understanding the basics that even though you yourself as an individual, you're a talent, but guess what? When you work with others, when you have a team, you're able to just move mountains. So he's learning how to work with others. So he's not an individual. He doesn't operate with individualism. He operates in unity. And I would say last but not least, but having some sort of a faith. I'm not going to say that we're highly religious, but having faith in yourself, right? If there's a higher being and you're a figment of that being, then therefore you yourself is special. So look at yourself into the mirror and fall in love with yourself as well, not the world. Because if you're not in love with yourself, then you're not going to like what it is you put out there. So those are the three things in which I really stick to him day to day. And as he's forming and building his own character, it seems that he's just naturally learned the order of business. Yeah.
Cool, man. How do you, with their natural especially men, I know, oh God, it's so controversial to say men and women are different. Hello. We have this underlying commitment to aiming down, to self-sabotage, like to just, I got nothing to do tomorrow. Let's have a few drinks. And then you feel like how are you handling him in the department of, he's young, impressionable mind still, he could very easily just say, I'm going to spin over here for a second and try this little thing out, and then it leads to nothing but hell later. So how are you keeping him on the path?
Well, for me, it's not hard at all. I mean, one thing about, and it's like you said, if it's controversial to say men, then one thing we can also say is men are natural, competitors. And, in some capacity, we want to win. We want to be acclimated. We want to be, receive the accolades for our work. And my son, I've always put forth to him, these are the rewards, for, doing this, right? And if you want to have a car, it's one thing you like nice cars. Dad may get you a Humpty because that's what I'm ready to give you. But if you're saying you want something really, really swagged out, then, you may want to go ahead and get your own job and contribute towards what Dad is doing. Mm-hmm. You put that together and you get your swag out vehicle. So now you learn the feeling of working for what you want. So these are key things that we've set forth. And another thing too, just like I was telling you earlier, this is the book I was telling you about. This is part of the Napoleon Hill archive.
Dude, okay? Do you just happen to have that handy tonight? Or is it on your desk?
So, cool, when you talk about Think and Grow Rich, there's a lot of fundamentals that is amazing. And one of the things that I learned from the president of the Institute of Think and Grow Rich, Satoshi, he said that there's man-made laws and there's laws, right? The ones that we make up here, and there's the ones that exist. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have to be able to decipher from the two, the laws that we put in our head on what we can and cannot do, and the ones that actually exist. So we have to decide under which system or methodology that you subscribe under. So that's key. And he knows that the real world, we have real needs, so we got to put in real work.
Andy Jean is my guest. Mr. Andy Jean, that's the old radio guy coming out of me. Like, they know that, like, in today's day and age, there's no one that's dialing in on the AM channel and can't figure out who we're talking to. My guest is Mr. Andy Jean. Yeah, we know it's in the title, dummy. Okay, so that leads me to, what are you up to then? What are you dragging your kid into? What is he the front man for? What are your businesses, and how are they coexisting, and how are you working in the future to make them all work together? Like we touched on this a little bit today. Full service real estate. Concierge. We pick you up at the airport. We arrange your rental before you even land in town. And then, like, I just went through this. I had people from out of town, realtors from Canada. And dude, I took 2 weeks off. Like, I was joking that I was going to do more business hanging out with these clients, their friends. But no, he rented a car but didn't drive. So I took them everywhere. And I'm like, shit, I wonder how much this service is worth, to be picked up at noon every day and be taken on a little 5-hour road trip or whatever, grab lunch, go to the beach, see some real estate, do whatever you want to do, and then come back, because I'm taking them to all my places. And I realized that my little restaurant that I go to down here, I'm not the gringo anymore. I don't pay $3.50, dude. I pay $2.50. I pay less than anyone else, or maybe the same. Maybe she likes me more. I don't know. But dude is winking at me and stuffing my box full for $2.50 now, where I used to get 8 pieces. And when I take my friends there, they get the Jimmy Fallon price now, because I've surpassed the gringo status. For 8 months, I paid the gringo rate, but I've been around a long time. I'm like a year and a half now, and I always tip. I always give whoever serves my meal to go 50 or 100 pesos every time, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but it means something. I go out of my way. I track her down. If she goes back to the barbecue, I track her down to the barbecue and give her money. But, it's a real, I'm wondering how your businesses are working together. And I'm thinking, we have to provide financial services if we're selling houses. And I know you got a totally different network. Mine used to include hemp oil. I haven't figured out how I'm going to bring hemp oil to Dominican Republic, but Nature's Hemp was me 25 years ago, before anyone knew what an essential fatty acid was, an omega. Now and my dream was always to make an EFA and a CBD blend, because they're both in the States. They're both. Like in Canada, CBD is regulated. You can't buy CBD unless you buy it through the government. It's like weed or alcohol. It's all regulated in Canada now. In the States, you can sell CBD and they spun off a different type of THC that doesn't qualify, and you can get away with selling that. And it's they've skirted it. And as marijuana gets more and more legalized in the States, but you cannot import EFAs, just cold press industrial hemp oil, into this country. And maybe that's part of why I'm here. Maybe I got to find out who to lobby and who to convince that it's going to have a significant effect on the healthcare costs of the nation. Because you get everyone taking a shot of hemp oil every day, you won't believe how they don't go to the doctor anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a simple thing. And you can't eat enough fish to get what hemp oil gives you in 369, So anyways, I'm interested in how your businesses are serving each other now that you're on the island. And I don't know how much time you're spending here now. I think the goal is just to be here full time, right?
Well, I mean, it's almost impossible to be anywhere full time. I've been extremely blessed, like I mentioned the last interview we did. I'm blessed to have a portfolio of businesses, one in health, one in technology, and under that technology company, there's multiple services I provide. But primarily, one of the, I would say, more popular, highly demanded services has been pretty much a little bit towards the lane in which you mentioned, is B12. We've, as a family, we've accumulated a few franchises in the United States that's been servicing thousands of people throughout the United States. I would say we have about 50 plus stores. We probably service maybe 1,000 people a day with all the stores combined. So we're definitely becoming at the level of becoming a national franchise. Now, with that being said, my goal, and I want to openly admit this, and I think I might have in the past, I almost died because of being overweight. I was 300, plus pounds right before COVID. And, COVID pretty much gave me a reality check where I had to take control and take my health back. And so not only I decided to jump into basically taking care of myself, but I started studying a lot about holistic and very natural products, similar to what you said, from omegas, from hemp oil to CBD to B12. A lot of these products prior to now were considered or deemed whether substances that was illegal or was not accepted as a product you could use to the masses. Now, what has happened is, I would say, great patrons like myself, Jim, and so many others, and you said it before, are lobbied, until some big guys got into a lot of trouble. Then it forced Congress to now investigate or dig or look into some of these products. And now I would say it's not widespread yet, but yes, a lot of states now are allowing, I would say, everything from CBD, THC to become recreational. They understand the benefits that is extracted from the cannabis. So there's from seed to sale, they're digging in, they're investigating, they're figuring out a lot of ways to make it prominent, right? So I'm not here to say that I'm a champion of any one product, but I'm huge on holistic, for sure.
Right. CBD is unregulated in the States, from what I understand. It's wide open, right?
Not all states, no.
Oh, okay.
And because there's also different variations. Even though it's unregulated, there's financial institutions, if you're a business, that won't allow, monies to be transferred in that industry.
Oh, right, okay.
So you have that part. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's basically cash based, or the distribution is not as massive as maybe another product. So yeah, there's irregularities, and there's areas where certain states it's open, like come on in, and there are states that are still borderline.
Dude, often it's difficult for me to actually hear the interview while I'm giving it. So you'll forgive me if I'll make a couple confessions. One, I haven't watched our interview that we did. And two, because when I'm the host, and especially in the office when I got people around and I'm running a soundboard, I got to make sure I got the right take on here, cut-wise, that it looks in good. And even when I was in the radio station and everyone else was doing my work for me and I was just the host, it's really difficult to comprehend and listen to your interviews while you're in them. So you'll forgive me if I confess, I missed that you were 300 pounds before COVID, man. That is, like, I know you said it and it went through my ears last time, but dude, that is a significant win in life, man. And if there's one thing, I'm going to be 55 this year. My testosterone checks out. My blood's good. I'm pretty healthy. I'm suffering with some sciatic. I think I got a bulge disc or something in my back that's really giving me grief right now. But for the most part, I'm decently healthy. But, now I just brain farted. That's another thing that happens when you're live. All of a sudden your thought goes, anyway, yeah, back to you. I missed that. Dude, that is a huge freaking win, dude. You were 300 pounds and facing certain death. And we all say, oh, no, you got to be politically correct. You're perfect the way you are. You're big-bodied. No, bullshit. You're overweight. You're costing us money in the healthcare system, and you're going to die. Now, I do things that kill me, too. But so talk to us a little bit about how, dude, does it have to come to a life or death situation where we wake up and go, okay, that's it. From here on out, no more of that thing. Because it's like Jordan Peterson says, if you make your life this much better every day, just a little bit, just do the dishes, make your bed. That's people make fun of them about make your bed, clean your room, but it's important, man. And, to win like that, you had an epiphany. You had a coming to Jesus moment, whatever you want to say. You got boom. And from there on out, you didn't need motivation. So I don't know if you can help us in this department, help me specifically. When you've got everything given to you naturally and you came up through a middle-class family, and I've had a job since I was 11 years old. I've been in the workforce. I bought my own things. But, this idea that you know what you're not supposed to do, so stop doing some of those. And you know what you're supposed to do, the things that you won't even go for a walk. 20 steps down the driveway to start out the day. I'm got some wins, but I'm very good at beating myself up. So I want you to speak to the people that don't have the come to Jesus moment, the ones that aren't in a life or death situation. And where do you dig in? What is it? Positive affirmation. You just look at your mirror and say, I love me, and I heard you say that too. And, I keep coming back, even though I'm a failing Christian, I keep coming back to, love your neighbor like yourself. Well, the problem is nobody really loves themselves. They fucking actually hate themselves. They loathe themselves. Like, I am so good at beating myself up that when somebody says to me, hey, Jimmy, way to go. Hey, you're good at that, eh? Keep going. I'm like, what? My buddy of mine said to me years ago, he's like, Jimmy, why do I feel like a little encouragement with you goes a long way? I go, oh, you think? So I appreciate your thoughts on talking to the people, the guys like me that could be doing so much more, and they're not in that life and death situation where they're 300 pounds. Or maybe you tell us about the decision. What kept you committed every day to getting healthy? Like, look at you, man. You're a beautiful human man, and that's a huge win, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I could tell you, I could probably point out three very important things that definitely sparked that motivation. Primarily, when God have blessed you where you are making strides in life and you see that your work is coming to fruition, and then now you look at your health can be the factor to perhaps take you away from enjoying that, right? And also when you have kids and you're sitting back and you're thinking about your loved ones, what if, my doing would shorten this experience. Now, you don't have a guarantee in this experience called life, right? But we definitely have a guarantee where while we're here, we can decide what we are able to control. And one of the first things, of course, is basically knowing that I have a family, knowing that I want to be around to help others. Just like I mentioned before, there's no I in team. The teamwork makes the dream work, and that's something I believe in. So if I have, and when I got into my business, my job as a CEO or the owner of a company was to motivate my team. And if I'm not practicing, things that I'm passing on to them, then what am I truly a CEO? I can't say go out there and win and kick ass and just kick butt and take names, but you have to start practicing yourself. And unfortunately, something did happen. I was in my beautiful condo in Brickell, and I was just enjoying the view, and all of a sudden I felt dizzy and I collapsed. When I woke up, I was at a gas station. I just remember being on the phone, and I'm like, I talked to my then girlfriend at the time. Wow. It was my wife now. I'm saying I'm not feeling good, and I woke up at a gas station with paramedics, with lights, and that was a wake up call. Because, in Miami, and it's no secret, Miami is a party city. I was in real estate in the mortgage space. So you can imagine there was a lot of celebratory going on. So there was always the South Beach, meet me at the spot, and it's a few drinks, it's good food. And, that can drag you into a space where you end up with the paramedics. So that was my wake-up call. Yeah, that was my wake-up call.
Okay.
And I would say that motivated me to at least, I would just want to end it with this part. That sparked me to go to the doctors. I was recommended to go to a cardiologist, of course, where they recommended what they call a stress test and the carotid IMT to check my arteries to see, where I was in life. And, I have to say to my excitement, they said I was okay. However, right, there was no permanent damage in my heart, my lungs, or anything of such. It's just that I needed to lose weight.
Wow.
And he's like, or you die.
Dude, that is a great story. We're going somewhere here tonight. You know what? I prepared you for what this might look like, because when I do this, I'm never really on camera, right? You're on camera, but I didn't prepare you for hanging my earphones on the mic and running off the screen and then coming back with a big smile on my face going, so way to hold your composure through that shenanigans in the background. Nobody saw that, but way to go, man. So you just tell us more about your Dominican travel and what, dude, I came here 30 years ago, stayed at Casa Marina. I told this story before, but I think it was maybe Casino Chiquita, whatever. I rented a bike. An enduro, like a dirt bike, I don't know, a 125 or whatever. And I have my mother in the back, and we're going to the casino, and I break the chain on the way. I broke the chain. Dude, I'm not driving a motocross. I'm going on the dirt road to the casino. The chain broke. I'm in the middle of what I feel is nowhere in a foreign country with a broken chain with my mom. And this kid comes along, and dude, with literal sticks and stones, the kid takes a link out, masters a link, gets the chain together, gets the chain on the sprocket, and gets me rolling. And I'm like, I had already fallen in love. My brother, when I told him I was going to Dominican, he says, dude, do you not remember how much you love Dominican? I go, oh, yeah. I enjoyed myself. It was the first time off the continent. He goes, no, dude, you came back from there. You were learning Spanish. You were going back to get married. You're going to have Dominican you were all in. I'm like, oh, yeah, shit. I forgot that. It was 30 years ago. And when I got back to the hotel, my buddy said to me, Jimmy, it's all good and fine and good. Cause I'm way more street smart than I was then. I was, probably 27 years old or something. I'd never been away from the north end of St. Catharines. It was just, mix of blue and white collar, middle class, white. Like Gregory Peart was the only black kid I had in grade 4 and 5. Me and Jim Zockley and Gregory Peart, we're inseparable. And we started we used to rub his head because he had a tight afro, and we go, oh, that luxurious head. And then we would all take turns doing each other's head. Oh, that luxurious head. And he was like but it was all totally white. And so now that I've been in the Dominican Republic, dude, like the Spanish culture, I'm totally down with. There's a strong Haitian influence here too. But the people I just fell in love with. But I've never met so many Jews, Russians, Germans, Ukrainians. Like, I'm meeting people Polish, like they're all here, man. Like, I am cultural overload and loving it. My best friends is a Russian through Brazil, through Philadelphia, through Florida to here, and he's like my father, like he's a father to me. And he frustrates me like my father too, because he's like old school. So I wonder about your Dominican experience and why you decided to come here, because I only had one experience of it. I loved it all and I haven't left.
Well, my experience, I would say, may have some similarities to yours. I've visited in the past as well as a tourist. And, I've gained some really cool friends in the US that are originally from DR. So I've done business with Dominican. And, I also have a friend here that is opening up, I think, a refinery, a wine or liquor refinery somewhere in Santiago. But there's always been this sensation of perhaps, it's like I think I love when Clayton says this. He said, we always talk about one day retiring in the islands, right? And the question is, which island? And we visited quite a few. Obviously, I'm from one, right? So you would think I would go back to the Bahamas and retire. The irony of that is I love the Bahamas, right? But the beauty about just being who we are as humans is, again, it goes back to enjoying the human experience. We get to have options, right? To, go into America, which is an original melting pot, and meet people from all variety of life. And I come here to Dominican Republic, same thing. I thought it was going to be just this direction. No, I've met, similar to you, I've met phenomenal Dominicans. I have to admit, I've never seen a group of people with such servitude, with such love and passion for their
willingness
country.
to help. Everyone,
oh, yes.
Especially the men. And these men, I drive by these men all the time. I swear they're laughing at me. And they don't take antidepressants down here. There's no opioids. There's no drug addiction. They're rum, but you swear they're on Zoloft to 20 milligrams every morning because they smile at you for no reason. I had a guy drive by me today, and I said good morning to a girl today in Spanish, and she laughed at me, like she was so happy to. Well, I don't know. She was laughing, saying, oh, "It's cute, hola," it's so cute. Like, I don't know, the people, especially the men. The men have these smiles that just light up the street, man. That's one thing I really enjoy about this place.
No, I mean, I've experienced the same thing. I've seen it with the I would say the service-based businesses. I would say the customer service is second to none. I've seen it with the hospitality, when you go to the beaches, you see the same thing, and it's not forced. That's something that I must say, Jim, that's amazing. It doesn't look forced. It looks second nature. It's, because I have to admit to you, I've been in corporate America, and you can tell when somebody is shit laughing you, right? When they're fake, smiling and showing that the exciting life is good. No. But I have to admit, there are attributes outside of what you're seeing that that are telltales, right? I mean, beautiful weather, right? You wake up in a place where, you can hear perhaps animals in which we've probably only seen in books when we were in school, like literally exist, right? That connection with nature, the weather, and just that family. And I must say, goes back, family is a big thing here. People love to sit at the table and eat together. People love to have a drink together, whether it's passion fruit, Presidente, or Brugal. They're doing it together, right? And they're doing it in great spirit. So I would say my experience has been similar to yours, Jim, for sure. Great spirited people. Love the Dominicans.
Dude, man. So tell me about real estate. We had a meeting today with the financial guy from Scotiabank. His knowledge was really appreciated. And you know what else I appreciate is, dude, normally when I do these interviews past June, I have to close the windows and doors for hours before I do an interview. Otherwise, I'm just soaking, drenched with sweat. Today, the doors and windows are open. I just turned the ceiling fan on. It gets hot down here in the summer, man, but there's a lot to take for granted. You know, on my Christian men's group, actually, I was on a separate prayer group today, and they're like, Jim, holy cow, it's been a long time, you know, like Dominican Republic. But I even made the prayer this morning. I know our friends in the Dominican Republic, you know, and I'm like, you tell us, like, how is it, man? I go, 85 and sunny every day. And there's, you know, it's a video call, it's Zoom, right? So they're just, I'm like, well, you know, like, I never thought my whole existence, this was my brother's existence. He's a South Beach guy. He goes to Florida or Miami or even California, and he just picks up waiting tables, or he lands in town next, you know, in 2 weeks he's managing a Jewish kosher restaurant, you know, like seriously, he's an industry guy
from Miami.
Oh yeah, he's just a total industry guy, and he's like, I got to get out of here. I can't do winters here, and I never wanted to leave my country. I wasn't the guy. I wasn't the world traveler. But here I am, and it's so easy to take all that stuff for granted. The beach is right there. The water's 78 degrees all the time. The sun's always out. And I treat it like Niagara Falls because I've been there, you know, the beach, whatever. When I was at home, I'd race to the beach every night to watch the sun go down. I've watched this many sunsets since I've been here. Like, seriously. They're right there, and they go down over the ocean. I'm like, yeah, no, I'll just stay in my apartment over here.
Yeah. No, I love it, Jim. My wife loves it. My daughter came, and just to piggyback off of what you said, I mean, outside of just the elation and enjoyment of coming to the island and enjoying, you know, the naturality of it, you know, there's also opportunities here for individuals to get a fresh start. I mean, again, some people are actually leaving the United States, not necessarily because they're failing or things are bad. They're actually doing it because things are great. And they understand when things are great there, it comes with a level of stress and liability sometimes that's overwhelming. So you can come here and just minimize that and get maximize your own winning by minimizing. I would say, I mean, we had an opportunity to speak from, I think, a very high level personnel from Scotiabank, who has given us some information, I think, for those who are listening, who wants to come here to the Dominican Republic and gain residence. There's opportunity for financing, low cost by entry, and, you know, become a resident and be a part of this or enjoy this paradise. I'm excited about that, Jim, a lot. And I think there's a couple projects in the pipeline too. I think we have Viva Street that's coming soon, where there's going to be a uniform system where when you come here, like you said in the beginning, you know, you're getting the VIP service, the welcome, you know, the VIP service, the red carpet is being rolled out for you, from picking you up from the airport to making sure you have fruits and maybe a glass of wine at your residence when you arrive, and just being able to soak in all that natural, organic experience that perhaps you probably wouldn't be able to enjoy elsewhere, and especially not at the cost that you are able to do it here. So yeah, I would say the transition's been amazing, Jim. You know, I love it, you know, thus far. You know, I love the fact that I can walk 5 minutes to the beach. I love the fact that I can look out the window and the sun is shining. I can, you know, these are just great things, but again, it can be done. So it's not far-fetched anymore. It's not a dream for the elite. It's anyone's, you know, choice now to say, I want a piece of this paradise.
Maurizio, is that his name? He's
I think it's So now because you
We just murdered your name. Okay, sir?
Yeah. We apologize.
Here, it's right at the bottom of the email. Let's go through the rates. So, standard qualifying things apply. Okay? If you've got a Scotiabank account in Canada, because it doesn't exist in the States, that's a plus. You can move money from Scotiabank Canada to Scotiabank DR very easily. But when you're buying a property, that's usually done through wire transfer, which goes to, in my case, I use Guido. It goes to Guido's trust account in Florida, and then the money comes here. Financing up to 70%. And if it's not, it has to be your first home.
Yes.
Yes. I think in Dominican Republic, because if it's not your first home, then it's commercial, and there's no rates for that. There's no financing for that, unless you've got, like, they will back you, but you need all the money up front. Financing up to 70% lower value between the appraisal, which the buyer picks up, just like everywhere else. The buyer pays for the appraisal. He told me that down here, different than Canada, the buyer, because he's paying for the appraisal, gets a copy of the appraisal. And I'm interested in this, okay? Down here, everyone talks about net. The seller's net. No one says, I want to list my house for $269, take your 10%. They say, I want $269 in my pocket. You put your commission on top of that. That's weird to me. But I would love to know how working the system with finances works down here, because it's the same as Canada. Let's say you know the buyer or the seller. The buyer and the seller know each other, and they've already agreed to $200,000, let's say, right? But you write it up for $250, and it appraises at $250, and because it's worth $250, you get instant $50,000 equity, which you have a side agreement with the buyer and the seller through the lawyer that the bank never sees. A side agreement to kick $50,000 back to the buyer on closing. So the $50,000 that you would need to close it is already there as far as the bank's concerned. As far as the seller's concerned, he only wants to net $200, so he's getting paid an extra $50. So he's got a side agreement to give you $50 back. So when it closes, technically you should have $50K as a credit either at the lawyer or in your bank account. That's bank fraud. So you don't do that. But I mean, when they talk to you down here, they say, if you have another Dominican Republic property, don't use it as your assets, because we don't want to know about it. All we want to know is that you're going to live there. So you tell them, I'm going to live there. It's my first house. So 70%, I've said a lot there, and talked myself into coaching my clients into mortgage fraud.
There's
excellent interest rates. It's a 25-year AM, and this is what they call a fixed rate. Like I said, well, what's your 5-year fixed rate? Well, here's your 5-year fixed rate. 4.75 for the first year, 5.75 fixed for 3 years. Oh, maybe I read this wrong. 4.75 fixed for a year, 5.75 for 3, and 6.5 for 5. So am I reading that it's 4.75 for the first year, and for the from year 2 and 3, you're 5.75, and then 4 and 5, you're 6.5? Am I right with that?
Okay, right here, just to make sure I'm giving the accurate information. I'm on the same page.
Dude, don't even worry. If we massacre everything, we'll do another show and clean it up. It's okay. It's okay to be wrong.
All right.
But I prefer not to be. But that's what I'm reading. I'm reading financing up to 70%.
I'll make a few important points in addition to that. I just want to make, because we got to factor in the 3 C's, right? It's cash, credit, collateral, right? These are usually the 3 things that they're looking for. In this case, we wanted to find out, can we have become a bridge for those who don't have $300,000-$400,000 lying around, correct? That's why we're even talking about this.
Well, what we're telling everyone is back home, if you have equity that's not liquid, refinance it and make that liquid so you can move it. And just take some of it and put it down here.
Yeah.
because
You can park some of that money here and build equity like overnight, basically.
and instant
Um,
income.
Yeah. I
Off,
want to also
off.
mention the fact that, you also, they want the credit. I mean, after speaking, this credit scores can be at 660 if you're in America and 680 if you're in Canada. That's important. The income they're verifying, of course, is through your job. They accept
Yeah,
self-employment.
all the mortgage requirements, you got to do the same thing. Your T4s, your bank statements if you're self-employed, a letter of employment that's current, 6 months pay. It's all the same. Assets, liabilities. It's no different than any other bank you've ever been to, which is surprising because we're in the Dominican Republic. But it's so, it takes you maximum 72 hours to get pre-qualified. So they take a look at all your stuff and then they come back to you and say, okay, well, we'll give you 400 Gs.
Gotcha.
So
There
all
you go.
that's the same as anywhere we've ever
It's
worked
very
before.
easy. It's very easy.
Mhm.
It's very easy. I mean, at least from what I'm seeing here and what we spoke about is just check the credit, check the boom, boom. You're pre-qualified. I'm quite sure you can satisfy the remainder of the conditions and within a really quick time frame and go straight to closing and move in, or at least.
Yeah, what I want to know is how do you get around, like down here, there's no, like, it's so uncommon to put a financing clause in your condition, in your offer, that I'm kind of, that's one thing I didn't ask him today is, okay, so you get pre-qualified, but that's not a letter of commitment against the property. Now you need an offer in place and you need an appraisal on the property.
Absolutely.
So, when the push is to get everyone cash down here because no one really, actually Clayton got an offer together that's conditional on the sale of their house the other day. I'm like, dude, really? Wow. Like, I can't believe you got a conditional offer together down here because usually it's just cash. So I guess you just gotta use a short condition because you don't want to coach your people into a position where they can't get out of something if they change their mind. But I guess there's no change in your mind. If you're qualified, the appraisal comes in, and you've got a condition, it's almost like, well, how can you get out of this deal? You qualify, and the appraisal's good, so remove your condition or we'll sue you. I don't, I have that as an open question because conditional finance clauses down here are really uncommon. Almost no one uses them. It's cash or nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a great meeting because for me, that was an option that was never presented to me in the past. And now that I know we have it available to the public and for anyone around, at least in Canada, US, and maybe other parts of the world, like I said, the buy-in, I hate using the term buy-in, but in order to enroll, it's not that difficult at all. It's a one page application, just some basic information. The information what I personally believe is that I will try my best to pre-screen, at least find what it is that at least get them to get the information prior to submission. I mean, I've been in mortgages probably for about 20 plus years. And one thing an underwriter hates is having to ask you for everything twice, right? I would rather be the guy that submits everything once where they're easier to just pull my file and just bring it directly, to closing because it's such a great and informative file. So less questions, less information you are exposed to give. Because the banks that sometimes are willing to go with just what it is they ask you for, no more, no less. I'm excited the fact that, self-employment, that's a big deal. Because, with other banks in different parts of the world, if you're not employed with a job where you're collecting, like you said, a W-2, then you typically wouldn't qualify for a home. So over here, being self-employed is respected with having a bank statement. I think that's major. You mentioned a 4.7% fix first year. I think the cap is 5-year fix. It's a 5-year fix. And of course, you jump into a variable after. Now, people are afraid of variables. Sometimes when you hear that term, you're like, what happens? Well, what happens is, this is where you sit back and you evaluate and see what it is you have. I mean, your property 5 years from now, and I'm just using hypothetical, could have probably doubled. So now you're basically back in the game, whether you took the property primarily for your first residence per se. Have you been using the property to generate income? Okay, so maybe you've been beating on that horse and it's been, giving you some good some good revenue. So I think just merely positioning yourself, whether you are a person with cash on hand or someone that needs a little bit of assistance to back you up. I think with this market, the direction this market is going, with all the great projects in the surrounding area, I think that it's a slam dunk. I kid you not. I'm not one to really emphasize how solid someone investment can be in anywhere, but I have to admit in DR, I have to tell you, man, I really feel solid. I back it up. I put my name behind it. The company in which I'm with, which is Viva Dominican, has been proven that properties can be sold to the right folks at the right price. And if push comes to shove, we're able to assist you to go to the finish line. So yeah, I think, Jim, we're on the right track. Me personally, as a new agent on the team, my experience of going back 25 years in mortgages and real estate. So now I'm feeling that the playing field is being leveled. So it's not just directed to folks with money, but everybody can get a chance to be a part of this paradise.
Dude, tell me how you're staying, trade secret time. Tell me how you're staying in touch with your mailing list. I came down here with a mailing list of about 25,000 from the Toronto Real Estate Board that heard from me every month or something as Team Niagara, 4% to selling broker. And then another 8,000 on my contact list, another 1,000 agents in the Niagara Association of Realtors. And my Toronto list is garbage. My 8,000 Google contacts is too dirty. I got to get cleaned up and nobody will take it because it bounces too much. How are you staying in front of people? How are you contacting your mailing list to let them know, here's where I'm at, here's what I'm doing, call me now? Because people that trust you for the B12 shot are going to trust you to find them a home. So you've already built a trust with these guys. How are you letting them know you're here and what you've got?
Well, I mean, organically, I've been extremely blessed where I have my own network that expands from, I would say, accountants, financial, I would say gurus, CPAs, and enrolled agent. Now, why is that unique in terms of my database? These are folks who are preparing taxes for business owners and individual. So that's kind of a way we're able to, because one of the questionnaires that they all have to ask is, you have capital gain, what are you doing with it next? Right. So the answer could quite frankly be investment into, maybe Dominican Republic, or parking your money somewhere your money could generate revenue for you. But I would say right now, on my Instagram, I carry over 10,000 followers. I have a couple other networks. I have my personal tribe. Shout out to Epic Talks, South Beach, Miami. Our tribe is growing from, we started off at 50, maybe right around COVID. Now we're at 100 plus members strong, all business owners,
Nice.
all, earning seven figures.
Nice.
So, those are some guys who are coming down here to visit. So you're going to meet the rest of the tribe.
Nice.
Litz, Brett, all these guys, they're coming down to DR and hang out with us. So, yeah. So I would say I'm very direct right now in terms of my business acumen and status. Now, do we have what we call a mailing list outside of that, just a generic list? We do. We can buy them. But, I'm a big fan of working the people that I have in front of me first, taking care of my friends, taking care of my colleagues. It's unfortunate people aren't divorcing. And, and sometimes they need a fresh start. It's unfortunate that there are folks out there with money for potentially a second home. Not that I push that, but it's so many different ways, right? So, it's there for whomever, right? It's paradise for everyone.
You know what? I love that you hit on the opportunity down here, and I've never seen so much opportunity. I can't stress how important that has been to me, because sometimes, like, if you're a welder, okay, there's not a lot of opportunity for you, but there's an opportunity to open a bar. There's an opportunity to have a rental income, a significant rental income with, a pretty small investment. Like, we're talking about, you can buy a pretty decent property for $300,000 here, financed at 70% with decent rates, that more than carries and puts positive cash flow in your pocket. So opportunities wide open down here. you know, if you're a server, there's a lot less tipping down here. It's not like back at home where you're making $1,000 a week in tips. It's a little different, but you can be a realtor. You could open B12 shot franchise or something. Like you can go in, and as long as you're not stealing business from a Dominican, you're good. They love you because you're employing Dominicans. But if you're taking work for them, you're not coming down here thinking you're going to drive taxi. Okay, that's not in it for you, dude. That's not your fucking area of expertise.
Definitely not.
But opportunity, I want to keep you on time, man. I've had you an hour already. Can you believe it's gone that quickly, man?
Oh, big time! I love it, man. I mean, we're getting into the information. I mean, we're talking about what we like. This is what we do. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm all for it, man.
All right. So yeah, I'm fresh out, man. So where do you want to go from here? I was going to cut you loose, but like if you got more to hit, man, keep it coming because I mean, you know, what I appreciate with the conversation with you is that I'm getting stuff all the time. Like in your open, I was like, well, shouldn't you come out of business? Shouldn't you come out of grade 12 with a business? Like a corporation, like a shell company or a holding company? Like we know the benefits. Like, and so I appreciate good conversations because while you're talking, I'm getting stuff that I haven't even like articulated or put out there before. And this is kind of how we think, right? We put it out there and they're like, yeah, Jimmy, it sounds good, but no. And we're not teaching our kids to come out of grade 12 and do a thesis in a numbered company. Well, why not? Tell me why, you know, like, because I think it's a damn good idea. So tell me why you don't think that's a good idea. So my mother took B12 shots. It was part of, I think she went through Atkins diet. Is that the protein diet where they fill you full of B12?
Right? 90s,
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend used to...
I was a little young when the Atkins was very, very popular.
My girlfriend used to sneak B12 shots. I don't know why it was such a nefarious thing, but she was like, she went out of her way to hide that she was going to she was going to Atkins to get them, I think. And they're charging her like $90 a shot or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's still up there. And let me just hit you with something that's important. I've had a few of our really successful clients. The way I discovered B12 is so ironic because when I was at my biggest weight, you know, I went for a program, you're probably familiar with it, called the ACG, where you would take the shot in your stomach and you would have to eat about 500, just I couldn't do it. I'm a 6'4" guy and I can't
500 calories?
500 calories
a day?
And what they did, what the doctor at that time gave me was B12 pills to trick my mind into feeling it has energy just to go on to sustain the 500 calories. And I said to myself, this is ridiculous. So if this is a B12 is giving me the energy, it increases my metabolism, I can actually increase my mobility and burn more calories and still be able to eat and lose weight. And that's why B12 was actually a vitamin that was kept, I would say, in the lock boxes of the doctors, and only a few had access to it because it was really considered back then before Congress jumped in, and it was almost illegal.
Am I going to come out of this interview a B12 convert? You're not getting me on your damn shots, dude. Like, how many times do I got to take these shots? First of all, I freaking hate needles, okay? So I'm not putting them in myself. Well, maybe I could. You know, I have this thing about needles. I went to Gideon. You know, I've been really suffering with the sciatic, and he gave me some B12 shot in my ass. It's a thing, I don't know, anti-inflammatory. It's supposed to be good for pain and inflammation. Yeah. So my chiropractor, Mason, dude, I've never been adjusted like this guy. He's from California. He's a fucking gorilla. He throws me around that bed. Dude, he gives me traction on my legs. He pulls my ankles real hard. Like, he pops my hips. Like, dude is like, yeah. Anyways, Larry Mason, dude, $50 a crack. Anyways, he says, well, we'll try it out. Take it for 2 days in a row. So I go to Gideon. Gideon makes me bend over the table, drop my drawers. And after he's done, I can feel I'm going, oh, fuck. Yeah, I can feel I'm getting lightheaded, right? So when he's done, I pull out my drawers, I sit down in the chair, and I look up at him like this, right? And I know my face is green, right? And he says to me, "You want to lay down?" I'm like, yeah. I crawl onto his bed, and I'm like, okay. He says, just take your time. You big guys, but like you're all the same, like whatever.
Yes.
So I come back the next day, and I think her name is the receptionist. She walks me into the waiting room, and she turns around. She looks at me like, "You gonna close the door?" And I'm like, "Close the door? Where's the doctor?" She says, "Oh, you did. He didn't tell you. I'm giving you a shot today." I said, "Well, I'm a fainter. I don't like needles, right?" "Oh, no problem. So I'm just going to lay down here and I'll pull my. Listen, she's a very attractive girl, and similarly, the last time I had blood in the hospital taken, a very attractive girl gave me the needle and had another one of her friends distract me with conversation. And suddenly I have no problems with needles because there's a girl in the room. Can you believe this? The rest of the time I'm like,
you're panicking. Well, that's so funny, Jim. It's a point I make. Is very important.
Hate needles.
The terminology needle for us is non-existent because we use 23-inch needle diabetic gauges. Why is that important? If you think of needles, people still have this stigmatism of what it was back then.
Dude, I love acupuncture. Stick me with those things
you,
all the time. I move them around after they leave the room.
It was the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things we had to inform people is that we use very low gauge. It's almost like a prick, right? Because diabetic, like say, for example, diabetics have to give themselves shots and, insulin shots. So it's the same thing. You're really undetectable, no feeling whatsoever. The needles you're talking about are the old school 25 gauges, big boy needle you pull back and you're running out the door. I was the first one. But understand this, because we have NFL players, we have, have athletes that use this product, so we have to administer it at the highest efficacy possible. And that's to administer it straight into the bloodstream for it to start working right away. And again, it's for who feels that it's necessary. Most people, they get over that hump and actually administer it themselves. So it has been, kind of like trendy where people have that stigmatism and fear of needles is completely starting to disappear in people's minds because of the new technology in needles and syringes.
Well,
just food for thought.
Say hello to Buying Dominican on Twitter. We're live there. I just retweeted it on my.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm only an a-hole on one platform now. Okay, I'm nice on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very businesslike on Buying Dominican Republic on Twitter. But we're on DLive, we're on YouTube, we're on all the channels, TrueTube, True.tube. We're on probably 6 platforms and 12 accounts. So where can they find you other than the links that we're in now? And do you do live broadcasts like these? Like I was hoping that today you were going to broadcast the simulcast with different titles on the same platforms. That would have been cool.
You know what? I'll tell you where you can find me. Obviously, right now, I personally took a big hiatus from doing a lot of live recordings. I do more production-based recordings with my tribe. But right now, I did launch prior. I can even play it for you. I don't know if you would allow me to. Are you big on
no, hit it, whatever. Just share it with me.
Yeah?
If you share whatever you put up, it's going to go out live. So hit it.
Okay, 1 second here. Just stop you right here.
He's got multimedia loaded. This is cool. I like this. When my guest comes prepared with multimedia loaded, ready to share. See if your bandwidth can handle it. What's this?
Well, let's stop it right quick. I just want to make sure I have the volume and everything on. Make sure we do it correctly, right?
Well, my drink is done. We're done. I gotta go. No more booze in the house. I'm just kidding, bro.
All right, let me just go ahead and throw it on there. Boom, boom, boom. This is basically one of my reels I created for me to start my show, which is going to be with your help, actually, Jim.
Nice. I'm glad to help you, man. Look at the production, dude. What's that, Miami?
I'm a businessman. I'm a family man.
I'm ready to take
That's
my
why I
own
am
personal business to the next level.
Okay, don't talk over it.
We're actually first as part of something major. We're here to win with others together. Lives are being changed. We have no choice just to take our life and throw into something different, transform our lives.
Dude!
Don't just be one of the viewers down here. You want to be one of the people over here with us. And I assure you, we're going to put you in a position to win.
Dude! Fuck, you're handsome. Damn, that is pimp. Nice job, AJ.
Yeah, man, that's just a little bit of my work.
Who made that for you? Did you make that yourself, or are you into video editing?
Well, yeah, I have a small production team that I work together with, so we do our own recording and
We're gonna get along just fine. I need a pimp little intro like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. We have access to, I don't like to name drop or use cloud sometimes to promote myself, but we're very much plugged in and, all around the world, and we have folks who listen to us because our stories are so similar and it's not outside the box of what so many people are dealing with, whether it's the stress of work in the United States, a second chance, to start over, an opportunity. A lot of us are all on the same boat. It's just that they need a voice that connects with them. I had an opportunity to speak with Akon. I interviewed him. Damon John, I've interviewed him. Greg Cardone, his wife, Elena Cardone, multiple attorneys throughout South Florida, Ted Cruz, who's earned billions of dollars. I've traveled to Haiti, Bahamas, different parts in the U.S. just to inform people about the power of education, technology, and also trying entering new spaces instead of just staying in one place. So yeah, that's a little bit.
I have a request. Gone till November, man. What's your problem? You want to interview someone? Gone till November. What? Hello? Call the mark, man. I love you, man. That's a great intro. And let me throw it out there because this has taken a back burner because since I've been in this country, I've been in survival mode every minute of the last year and a half. How am I going to make the next month? And some months are better than others, and I've had a couple sales here and there, but I'm not lighting the world on fire. But I am the commission coach, okay? I took Floyd Wickman's 7% commission philosophy, which is, whoa, shit. I thought I broke my chair, but I kicked well, that's good live radio. I need a ghostwriter. I've got the guts of the book, okay? Because I know it's a book now. What I was going to do is do the commission coach. I'm just going to do 25-minute videos and teach you as an agent why you should get 7% commission instead of 4 with 2% to the selling broker. I offer 4% to the selling broker. When everyone else offers 2, guess who gets more showings and guess who gets better offers? I'm paying double the commission, dummies. Like it's not a hard concept to teach. But then I realized it's not just for agents. It's for everyone that's selling a house. Down here at a gated community, they sell with a 7% selling broker commission. And you know that on the North Coast, especially not Puerto Plata so much, but from Cabarete to Sosua, it's not uncommon to have a 10% commission. So when Casa Linda's paying 10%, and you're a competing gated community over here at 7%, why the fuck would I want to show your property and make $10,000 less because your commission's 3% lower? So the idea is offer a higher commission. If you don't get it, the best time, I'm not going to give all my secrets away, but there's only one time in the real estate transaction when the vendor, the seller, has leverage over the agents on their commission. And it's not when you sign a listing agreement. And similarly, I ask agents all the time, I know you're going to answer this wrong, Ring, ring. Duty agent. Yeah, I want to list my house. How much do you charge? Every real estate agent in North America, I would say 98.5% of those agents will answer that question incorrectly. And it's a simple answer. So I'm putting this out there. I put these 25-minute videos. So it was title, point. So I would, the title is called The Billy Factor. And, you know, we're not showing this one because it's a lower commission. We show this one over here. That's the Billy Factor because my little brother, Billy, God bless him, you know, when everyone was offering 3% to the selling broker back in the day when commissions were 6, 3 to the listing agent, 3 to the selling broker, and then one agency started offering 2.5%. Guess who we never showed? We never showed their properties. Why would I show your property at 2.5% when everyone else offers 3? So then I started offering 4, and then they went from 2.5 to 2 to 2.25, and I'm still offering 4. You know, so
right.
I'm putting it out there. I have the guts, and what I did is I took these 20 videos with 5 points underneath them, and by mistake I put it in Word into columns, and I looked at it and I'm going, oh shit, that's a table of contents. It's all there. It's probably only a 200-page book with some diagrams, but I need a ghostwriter. It's in me. I don't have the skills. I have the skills, but I don't have the mental makeup to sit in front of a computer for 3 hours a day and write a book. I'm not a good writer. Like, I mean, if I have to write something, I am a good writer, but it takes me way too long to do it. I'm just not naturally that good at grammar and paragraphs.
We can get it done, Jim. I promise you, we can get it done.
Okay, I'm putting it out there, man. You got the connection. Yeah. You know somebody that can take the guts and interview me for 2 hours and then write the book with a little Jimmy Fallon flavor in it because it's funny. Hilarious.
My publisher and the person whom I can put you with, the first question he asks is, what do you want the name of the book to be?
The Commission
That's
Coach.
where it starts.
The Commission
Once
Coach.
you know what the name of the book is and you put your name and title under it, you started.
The Commission Coach. How to sell your property for more money using commission, period.
Boom.
And it doesn't matter, but it's the same book for the realtors, but more importantly, it's for every seller. And this is where I got off. I thought I was going to create a training program for realtors. And hey, go to thecommissioncoach.com. You can sign up, and for $500, I'll teach you how to take 7% on every listing that you have already, and every listing moving forward is at 7% with 4 to the selling broker. And in your market, I can guarantee you, no one's doing 7%.
No,
and you know why it works? Because the vendor realizes why they want to offer more. It's the vendor that chooses it. The vendor's got to say, and this is the secret. There's one little trick. You're leaving the house, you got a 5% commission signed. You turn around and you say to the vendor, Mr. Seller, would you pay 10 points to get full pop? Yeah. Full price. Yeah. Yeah, I'll pay 10 points. Okay, sign here. Because they always leave a whole bunch of room for negotiating, and that's all we say. Listen, if I get you full pop, you got to pay a big rate, and if you don't get your full price, I'll teach you when the best time to negotiate with the agents are. So I'm just putting it out there. This is turned into a Jimmy Fallon commercial. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's giving pointers. This is what this is about. It's not just we're giving you information, we're giving you free knowledge. We're giving you proprietary information because we're just sharing right here outside of your normal viewers. You know, you have other agents watching, you have brokers watching. And let me tell you, man, this is the beauty about this type of environment that we're in, right? It's a team sport. We're working together. The goal is to, help buyers, of course, help sellers, move their properties, get what they feel they deserve, and actually leave, some room for, for us guys to make it happen. And at the end of the day, it is our motivation. We wake up every day. We have to feed our families. We want to work at the optimum. But at the same time, if you have a great system that works, you keep pushing it, you move it forward. And I like what you just mentioned. I think it's definitely worthy of a book, Jim, for sure.
Good. So as I feel myself being pulled to the B12 addiction, tell me, what are the benefits? Why would I want to jab myself, and how often do I got to do it?
Well, first and foremost, if you want to reach me, I got King AJ 305, right? And of course, you could go to my personal Facebook page, Mr. Andy Jean. At Facebook / Mr. Andy Jean. That's my handle. I'm not extremely active on Twitter like that. I got into some trouble on Twitter, so Twitter is where it's at, man. Twitter is like it's Arizona, man. But that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
I just got all my Twitter accounts back.
I gotta listen to these birds tweeting about
Elon. I harassed Elon, and I'm not saying that the reason he gave my account back is because I harassed him, but he did say he was given general amnesty, and he didn't do it. He said next week it starts, and then 3 weeks or a month later, we still didn't have general amnesty, and basically it was, if you haven't broken the law and you haven't broken spam rules, you get your Twitter account back. So all the big guys got theirs. Trump got his back, although he hasn't used it. Owen Benjamin's back. Well, Gavin McInnes isn't back yet. Alex Jones isn't back yet. But pretty much everyone, all the doctors that spoke out against the vaccine, they're all back.
Yeah.
So I was approaching 15,000 followers on my Twitter account for @JimFannon. That was amazing. Okay, I remember when I went over 10 grand, and my account was fire. It was built. MAGA built my @JimFannon account, right? Okay. And now @JimFannon lives, which was okay. So I had @JimFannon, I had @JimFannon Show, and then I had @Rock Our Town, and I had @Team Niagara, which was a real estate account. So as I kept getting targeted by lefties and suspended permanently, I kept going to my backup account. So my third account on Twitter now is fire. @JimFannon lives. It's fire, but now I can't broadcast live on that account for some reason. You got to go to @JimFannon Live, which used to be Rock Our Town. And so my old Team Niagara account now is at, I don't know, it's coming up on 7,000 or something. And when I got @JimFannon back about 2 weeks ago, I was terminated for 2 years. And the Jim Fannin Show just came back with no appeal, nothing. It just reappeared in my thing. That was weird. Oh, wow. But Jim Fannin Show was always small. I did live broadcast, and I didn't do much on that. Jim Fannin was fire, and it was almost 15,000. I have proof of it because I have a tweet where when I went over 10,000, and I was losing like 100 every day, up and down, up and down. I was fluctuating around 10,000. Then they terminated me. And then when I got my account back, I'm at 6,000. And when I tweet now, it's like a tree that falls in the forest. Like no one hears anything. There's no interaction. But my third account
have been changed.
Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm a ghost. I can't do anything at Jim Fannin, and I'm down at least 6,000 followers. So
I'll throw something at you. Just that you mentioned this is like you mentioned Jordan Peterson, and he's a big talker. He speaks about the dark triad, and because of the internet, he's added a fourth from narcissism, Machiavellian, and psychopathy, and he just added a fourth to the crazy people out there who take joy out of using the internet to either bully people or make do things in hiding. So yeah, that was pretty
guilty
interesting.
Guilty as charged, but I never do it anon. It's always Jim Fannin. I always stand behind everything I say, and I've never deleted a tweet.
So that's a real breed of maybe hybrid leftist.
Do not go looking for me on Twitter. Do not.
So, but yeah, it's so funny because it's real. It's it exists, right? You're being bullied on the internet, or you can't say what you feel like saying, or there's so much.
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts my thin white skin so deep.
I know. I mean, but I do think we are in a great space in life outside of being voices for for independent thinkers. I think it's just amazing that there's still a sliver of people that still live on planet Earth that understand, what's really happening around them and how things are somewhat orchestrated in so many different ways. And we're just wanting to opt out of that bullshit. We want to enter a new space where we can, we can speak our mind freely, not to be under any, I don't know. I don't want to get into too politics, but to be under an umbrella of which you don't even know what you're under, right? So, that to me is a little weird.
Well, you inspire me. Your leadership is I'm a little envious because, I interviewed Andy Lee not long ago. She's an independent journalist in Canada, not popular with the status quo. And she has this tactful way of presenting things that doesn't get personal like I do and isn't full of anger and hate like I am. And I told her, you've inspired me to the point where before I pull the trigger sometimes on Twitter, I think, Andy Lee would never tweet something like this. And I respect her tact. And so I'm proud that we've stayed away from politics, danced around it in a casual way, but not going, because, my mother, if she was still here, would say, Jimmy, who cares? You can't do anything about it. It doesn't matter who the president is, who the mayor is. It doesn't matter who your MPP is. Go to work, make money. You're talented. Pick a path and kill it. Because all that Green Party stuff, because I'm a 10-time candidate in Canada. Most of the time I was a Green Party, a political candidate. And dude, like I started out shaky. When they gave me the mic the first time at Seahow on Forks Road in Welland, I went like this. I drew the short straw, so I had to go first. I'd never done anything public speaking before, and I'm in a political debate with Terry St. Annam, and Gib Parent. He was the Speaker of the House, Gibby Parent, and Don Johnson was the NDP, and then we had some flying natural law party yogic weirdo hippie, which was interesting. And they tossed the mic to me, and they went, Jim, okay, it's time to... And Pete Marine is probably still the program director over there. They slide the microphone over like this, and I go... I did see that cough that I made actually was using my vocal cords, because you can't make a sound with a cough without your vocal cords. But when your vocal cords are stretched so tight from nerves, a cough is silent, and your lips move, and air comes out, but there's no sound. I was so scared, and as I worked my way through my stage fright and my fear, I got my voice back, and I started talking about proportional representation and carbon tax and carbon fee and dividend and all these things that I didn't really completely understand. And then I went to Toastmasters and said, I'll never do this. When I left the radio station at Seahow, I had a 1984 Delta 88 a Brougham. I called it the couch on wheels. It was tan, and it was propane and gas. It was one of the, no one had a propane vehicle. I did. I bought it.
I'm trying to figure out, where did you put the tank?
Yeah, it's in the trunk, and you could switch over. If you were driving, you could switch over.
First hybrid.
Yeah, it was classic. So I'm driving down Forks Road with my hands out the windows. I wish I could remember the song that was playing, screaming at the top of my lungs because I just conquered my greatest fear. I went to speak and my voice was gone, and I worked through it, and I did a political debate on the radio live for 2 hours, and then I made up my mind right then, I'll never be that scared and unprepared again. I wasn't unprepared. I was unprepared for the nerves. I was prepared to speak to politics. I had all my notes. I'd gone over it. I went to my buddies in Mississauga the night before and jammed all night and recorded it and listened to it in the radio in my car on the way home, and then got very little sleep and woke up and went to this thing. So I went to Toastmasters. I got 10 speeches done. Now I can stand and deliver in front of thousands of people, and man, I just get energized when I'm in the back and in the green room. I'm like,
about to go up there and do your magic. Yeah, I feel similar to you in some phases.
Love it.
I remember the first time I've interviewed. It's one thing to speak in front of people, but it's also to interview very influential public figures. When you take someone like Cardone and his wife, who's billionaires, and they're talking about real estate, how to 10x. You know, your question's got to be spot on because you have literally like a minute and 2 questions, and hope the questions are so good it can lead on to him speaking for 8 minutes, right? You know, Akon, on the other hand, you know, a young gentleman who's building an entire city in Africa, you know, using, you know, like blockchain technologies, you know, new advances, you know, that's a big deal. Damon John, who's probably one of the most prolific or probably as popular sharks on Shark Tank, you know, interviewing him and asking these guys questions sometimes, you know, you're like, what do you ask Damon John, right? This guy's being solicited every day, you know, for millions of dollars. And I'll never forget the question I was able to ask him. And it's funny because a lot of people don't know he's Trinidadian. He's from the island, just like myself. And he said, and I said, what is the #1 tool you think that all young people should at least have access to if they want to be successful or at least have a relevant place in life? And he just pulled out his cell phone. He said, this is it right here. He said, this cell phone is really the great equalizer, right? Equalizer, I'm sorry. And I had an opportunity to even speak with Jordan Belfort from the movie, what is it, Wolf of Wall Street. And I asked him the same question, you know, about Bitcoin. Said the same thing. It's a great equalizer. So, you know, when you speak to these folks, you have these questions and you do get into this space where you can be nervous, but you have to understand, man, at the end of the day, you know, they are waiting for you to ask the questions that others are not willing to. And they're more than happy to answer the question if you have the balls enough to answer it. And that's why when you meet these folks, you want to ask the questions that make sense, that you can translate into your own life.
Well, maybe I'm gonna put that on my list of goals. My short-term goals is to be starstruck, because who would I be starstruck by? I don't know. I don't think I think I just look at my interviews as business now. I mean, I did the eulogy for my mother's funeral, and it was all business. I didn't break down on the lectern. I mean, I broke down on the pew when I got off the lectern, and I hate when people call it the podium. You stand behind a lectern, you stand on a podium. And yeah, maybe Gavin McInnes, I'd feel a little weak-kneed. Jordan Peterson, for sure, because I've thought about, you know, who would intimidate me. And I always, you know, my mother cried for weeks when Elvis died. And when Andrew Fletcher from Depeche Mode died, I was crushed. And I didn't even know who Andrew Fletcher was. He's like the third man at Depeche Mode. He was the business guy. He didn't have a front position at all. He's not Dave Gahan, and he's not Marty Gore. He was the third guy. And you know what? For 3 weeks or 3 months, every time I put Spotify on, it was nothing but Depeche Mode. I felt like I lost a family member, even though I didn't know this guy. And I'm like, I wonder. David Bowie died. You know, I love David Bowie, like, you know. And I think, Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. I don't know. And then I was watching Gavin McInnes the other night. I'm like, Gavin McInnes is so funny and just wow. I've become a real fan. And I'm like, oh shit, I hope he lives forever, because he makes me laugh every day, right? But I often think of like, shit, when someone goes, is somebody going to screw me up as badly as my mother was screwed up when Elvis died? Well, you got an answer for that? Who is somebody that's going to... Like,
I'll tell you one thing. My former business partner, when I first entered business in the physical therapy space, he was a huge Kiss fan. I didn't understand how Kiss fans were a special breed of
me either.
Fans.
I didn't
and, you know, prior to him passing away, you know, he went to multiple farewell final concerts. He managed, this is crazy, right before he passed away, and when, you know, God bless his soul, my former partner, we actually buried him in his, he had a Kiss guitar. This gentleman was truly a fan, and I didn't understand, you know, what being a fan was for anyone. I mean, my son actually literally was named after Michael Jackson, because I was a fan of Michael when I was a kid. I remember winning my first black and white TV, okay? And it was because of doing the moonwalk and doing some of the songs that he did back then. But to make a long story short, when you are a fanatic of someone, man, it's another level. And this guy, he was a Kiss fan. He was a Kiss fan. And you know, that was, I never seen him, like, if he acted this way for a farewell or a final concert, which I think Kiss still does final concerts like every couple years or every year now. Does it ever end? No.
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, but I hear Guns N' Roses is coming back.
Yeah, no, they will do every time they want money, they'll do a last concert. And that's what I mean.
I thought you were talking specifically about Kiss.
No, just the farewell. He would go. He's like, for the 10 years I knew him, he would go to their final concert every 2 years.
Oh, I see.
So that's what I meant. Like, not just a diehard fan, but would go to their never final concert. Amazing. But yeah, man, it's adamant to have heroes or these people you look up to. I've never been a big, have to chase celebrities, but it's been interesting because a line of work that I'm in sports, they come in my direction, and I've been blessed to meet so many and to see how human they are, believe it or not. There's not much fascinating about certain celebrities. They're human just like us. Their problem is just more 10x, that's all.
Well, I wish you had got with my boy Jalen Hurts and the rest of the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles before they went to the Super Bowl this year, man, because the defense came away with no sacks and no interceptions, no points. And like, what happened? 55? Brandon Graham, Bee Gees. Where were you guys? What happened? No blitzes? What? The defensive coordinator. Oh my God. I can't even believe I brought that up. Let's switch the topic.
Where did you watch the Super Bowl?
I watched the first half down at Kaloke, and then I went back the next day and listed the restaurant for sale. So it's actually 50 grand. It's a good little business, man. She's got good numbers and huge margins. She said she brought out steak and shrimp. I had the special at, she opened just for my cousin. My cousin came down. They stayed at Casa Marina. They ended up at Kaloke, and they convinced her to open up and cater to this table of 12. Just a private party. So I got an invitation, and Mikey says, listen, we told her to pick up 6 steaks, and nobody's buying steaks, so, like, will you eat a steak? I'm like, sure, I'll have a steak and shrimp. And I'm like, I don't think I can stay the whole game. Like, I'll watch the first half, but at halftime I got to go because I have to be alone to watch this. And as it turned out, I had to be alone to suffer in complete solitude. She brought out, I can't remember, sirloin or something like that with 6 shrimps on top. And I thought it was $16.95 American, but it was 1,695 pesos. Dude, that thing cost her like $4 to bring to the table. And she sold it for 32. Like, maybe I'm just ballparking. The point is, she's got a good margin. So I watched the first half at Kaloke. I listed the business for sale the next morning, which kept me relatively sober. And then I came home and I watched the last half here by myself, and I didn't cry, but I was not happy when I went to bed. And last night, 2 nights ago, they replayed Super Bowl 52, and I went to bed happy. And here's the thing, AJ, I'm watching Super Bowl 52, getting stressed out at the end, even though I know they win.
What's going to happen, right? I think the worst Super Bowl I had, it's funny because I think it was many, many years ago. I mean, this was a controversial call when I think the Seahawks played the Patriots many, many years ago.
Run the beast up the middle. Run the beast up the middle.
Yeah, like, man, take beast mode. That was an automatic, and I don't know what the hell happened. But it was
you know what happened?
What happened?
The coach happened. That's what
right.
happened. The coach is weak, man.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, that was like, and this is the crazy thing was my wife is from Boston, so she's a true Patriots fan. And I'm like a Dolphins fan who's still stuck in 1972. And, so when the Patriots is playing, I'm basically always opposing the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Now, great. Now, I'm wanting to say greats are great, right? Brady is definitely the GOAT.
Brady is the greatest athlete ever to play professional sports. Let's just call it now. Before he won his last Super Bowl, before 2 Super Bowls ago, I said he was the greatest football player ever to play. Forget quarterback. He had that a long time ago. He's the greatest professional football player ever to play. And now I'm willing to say that Tom Brady is the greatest professional athlete ever to do anything. Name a better one. There's never been a better one.
At his age, for sure. He's definitely disappointed and made some people cry because of his consistency.
Well,
so yeah,
you know what made me
that.
cry? I cried laughing when they threw him a pass on the sideline and he missed it. It went through his hands. And then Nick Foles got the Philadelphia special in the end zone by himself. Like, what? 4th and 1 at the end of the half?
Everybody was dumbfounded. What the hell just happened?
And now the Philly special is it's ours forever, man.
Yeah, there's been some pretty good Super Bowls. I've seen some pretty good, cool finishings. I love watching. I think the Mannings played each other once, and head to head. So it's been some.
I'm surprised the Manning boys. Like, I've always hated the Manning boys because they used to beat me, our Eagles all the time. But they do this. ESPN2 version where they sit around and talk shit, and they have guests on during the game. And it's actually pretty good. I mean, they're very good. It's like, you know what? I still wish that Troy Aikman would blow a quad when he leaves the booth, because I still hate Troy Aikman that much because he's a cowboy. But Tony Romo comes off the field and is instantly one of the best broadcasters ever in national football. Like, the guy, you just can't. He's like Tom Brady. I hated him forever, but at some point you got to acknowledge he's the greatest ever. He's the GOAT, man. And Tony Romo, I hate him still. The obvious slur that I use on Tony Romo, but I never wish that Tony Romo would blow a quad when he leaves the booth, but always. That sponge head Troy Aikman. I wish he would blow a quad when he leaves the broadcast booth all the time.
Yeah, man, those guys are great. I mean, a lot of the athletes, man, they've gone on to, at least I would say different sports, different. I mean, I love basketball only because these guys don't end up as injured or banged up as the football players. So they go on to do really good work.
Or CTE.
I think it's tough. And that's one of the main things that we have one of our main products called the NAD. It's actually designed for the restructuring of the chromosomes because of CTE that athletes in some cases do suffer. So this will give you the etiquette and the potency of the products. But I think we've highlighted a lot, Jim. I mean, we covered, I feel we covered a lot. I feel that we were able to, at least in my point out.
My guest is wrapping up the show for me.
I'm not wrapping up the show at all. It's just, I know, but this is passionate to me because understand we started off with me weighing almost 400 pounds.
Wow.
Me being able to transition my family from one, a conglomerate system into something different and still be happy. Having the opportunity to be able to take my experience and translate it to others. I mean, I just think that's just great overall. So I want to say thank you, period, just for allowing me to speak up and be able to translate that information.
It's been my pleasure, brother. And you never, God works in mysterious ways. And I was just scanning all the comments to look for someone talking trash or asking a question, but we have no comments, and that is not unlike any other show that I've done before. I'll just say that. I'm going to make this threat. I'm going to come back and do a Jim Fannin show, not tonight, but at some point soon. I haven't done one since September. Any broadcast I have done has been either with a guest like you or strictly about Dominican real estate. So I appreciate your time, man, your influence on my life already, just by being in the background and having this underlying commitment that makes me a better man. I know that sounds kind of hokey pokey, but I mean that because people drip on you and they lead in a very quiet way, and you've never told me to do anything or given me any advice ever, but you're a good example, and I love you, brother. I appreciate you're Papa Chulo. Papi Chulo. Papi Chulo. You walk in my open house. My brother had to tell me, well, you know what Papi Chulo means? I go, no, because I'm singing it all the time. He says, it's Pimp Daddy. I'm like, oh, shit. All right, Papi Chulo. Papi Chulo, Papi Chulo. It's one of my favorite
Chulo.
songs.
Hey, I'll take that out, but I just won't use it around my wife. Because they'll be probably just got slapped.
Give my best to your lady and your boy, and I guess I'll see you two both, you three, both soon. And dude, yeah, it's a good conversation today. I appreciate the time, and I look forward to doing it again. And maybe we can bring some more multimedia next time. That was,
No doubt.
that was
No, I
pretty
have a
slick.
lot under
You
my
got
belt.
another stinger. We can play it for the way out.
We probably can. Let me see.
Do it,
Take a
man.
quick
Give me
look.
another stinger.
One of the things too that I have to say that I'm a little bit enjoyed is we had an opportunity, Jim. A couple of us, we were able to go check out one of those projects. And it's always good to kind of maybe give people a nice little visual towards the end. Let me go ahead and play this.
I'm gonna see.
This is one of the projects that we had an opportunity to visit. It's with Sasua Ocean Village. It's Laguna City. You tell me if you're cool with it, Jim.
No, hit it. Full screen it though. Okay, good, perfect. Laguna City, yeah, starting at 109, 50% financing. I hope the music's not copyrighted. I'll get cut. I don't need a strike right now. 109 USD. What? Five grand will hold it for you. Yep. You can buy a building for 2.1. There's 19 units in it. Run your own hotel right in Sasua Ocean Village. I'm glad you brought this up. It's going to be a nice unit. Park's designed like New York City, Central Park. Well, styled after it. Inspired by it, let's say. Good return on that. Better not give me a YouTube strike for the music. I'm going to be pissed. Tour, 15 years tax exemption, that's good.
Okay. Give me a second. I'll make sure I can give you.
I'm getting a red light on my my bandwidth. That's no good. Oh, maybe because you're sharing. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you now. Watch this. This is the only stinger that I've got. Let's see. Share screen. Let me see if I can do this on the fly. Share screen. Host disabled screen sharing. Oh, you're a big meanie.
I would have to give you host. I would have to pass on to you. I can do it. It's up to you.
Oh no, I'll play it. I don't need your permission. You just won't be able to watch it.
No, it's for it to show on the screen.
This is my stinger.
Okay, one moment. Let me go ahead and pass it on to you.
It's too late. I already played it. It's only it's only 10 seconds long. My buddy made this for me. Sure did. That's my stinger. I hope to get a nicer one, and I guess I'm talking to the right guy to do that. Brother, thank you very much for your time. That was a quick, what are we at? Oh shit, 2 hours, bro. What the fuck?
Hey,
we stretched that out for 120 minutes.
Good information. Good
Dude.
information, good knowledge, and hey, that's the beauty about being where we are.
That's cool. I'm going to George's, Casa Mañana. George's Oasis Bar, right down the street. The grader came in today, and we have a hill that comes up Caribe Campo and then goes flat across to the school and then comes up again. That flat part in front of the school, it takes a real beating, potholes, and it holds water, and it's horrible. I don't know why they even build in speed bumps, because you don't need them because there's so many potholes. Today a grader come in and took it down 8 inches, ripped up all the hydro and all the water lines that they had run across the road for 20 years.
Yeah. What is this? I'm used to a speed bump going like that.
You're right.
What's this?
What is this? This is a drainage ditch. Okay.
That's what I'm used to it being
And
called.
they act
This
as
is a
speed
replacement
bumps.
of a speed
No,
bump.
that's a drainage ditch. Yeah, it just lets water go across the road, man.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
And all this driving around I did for a buddy of mine that was down here, all the time I hit one, because I know where they are basically, but I was coming back through Sabaneta or whatever, just before coming back from this private beach that I take all my people to. It's like drive up to your own private hut on the beach. Like there's not too many places you can take your car on the beach. And this is about 45 minutes away from Sosua, and that's my secret spot. And you can walk forever down this beach. And just up the hill is a little restaurant. And they'll wait on you all day, bringing you 200 peso Cuba Libre. But on the way home, coming through the turns, and it was dark, and I came through one of these towns, and I went, boom, boom,
guys.
and I'm like, oh, I hit one speed bump the whole time without seeing it, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, brother, I love you. Thanks for the time. This will be an interesting show to watch back. Maybe I should watch our first interview back, but I feel like we accomplished more tonight than we did when we were sitting in the office, because it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing. We had a little bit more lead time this time, and I appreciate the way you are, man. Thank you for the influence on my life, AJ. I love you. I'm gonna go cry now. I'm gonna go cry into a bottle of Brugal.
Hey, let me just give a big shout out to the entire Viva team. You know, Clayton, big shout out to him. You know, I definitely marvel what he's doing with the team, the company, and all the different agents that's part of this big movement. You know, I love the energy there. I love what everyone stands for. I love the transparency. And I love the grit in the heart, which we all have, and moving forward to be able to. I've never used I don't like using the word take over, but I'll say this: in the next couple of years, I think we're going to put a big dent in this market, and we're going to help a lot of people win. So
you know what?
Big shout out.
You said a lot there, man. Thank you for that. And you know what? We want to help you. Maybe not leave your country, but just put a safe investment offshore, where your money is safe, and I mean, it's income that's not in your country. You set up a Dominican bank account and your income stays here. And when you come down, you can visit your money.
With interest.
Yeah, exactly.
With babies.
So yeah, let us help you get, oh man, I just ran out of disk space. I hope this doesn't corrupt the whole. It doesn't matter. It's out there anyways. I always record as a backup, but I really don't need it. It's on multiple channels. So thank you, my brother. All the contacts are in the show description. Oh, what? Get out of there. If you want to contact my man, all the contact information is there. My brother, I will see you tomorrow in the office at Viva Dominican Properties in Cabarete at Ocean Dream Plaza, right at the only street light in Cabarete. And now I'm starting to get sweaty because my
Hey, guess what? We're wearing hard hats
right
tomorrow,
head,
Jim.
man.
We're wearing hard hats tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we're going to
be
Casa
on
Linda
site.
Connections tomorrow.
Yes.
What time is that?
I think it's midday. I'm not sure. I have to look at the schedule, but I know we're wearing hard hats.
Maybe
We're
we'll
gonna be
do
in
a
the middle
little.
of the action.
Maybe we'll do a little impromptu live YouTube on the Dominican channel, on the YouTube channel tomorrow. I'm so done with Facebook. I'm done with Meta. You know, I'm still. Hey, no one has
It's so funny when
sexually
you said
assaulted me
Facebook
more than
earlier.
YouTube.
I didn't know
But
what you meant, but I knew exactly what you meant.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I met it.
You met it.
And yeah, so maybe we'll do a little live from Casa Linda, from the fourth floor of an ongoing construction site where you can get in for the low price of $230,000 American and have a good ROI and a 70% guaranteed occupancy rate. And then you can come down and visit your money and your
That's
investment.
right.
You don't even need to come to the island to buy property. You can visit your property for the first time a year after you buy it, after it's put $50K in your bank account.
Yeah.
And we can help you do it
that's
all.
me.
From renting it, to picking you up at the airport, to teaching you where you find Gucci shoes. Papi Chulo, my brother. All right.
Hey,
Get
that's
out of
when
here.
you marry well, okay?
Get
That's
off
the
my
wifey's
screen.
gift.
All right. brother.
That's a previous gift, my friend. I'm still holding on to it.
Are we
I'm
done?
thinking of my story. That's it.
We're done.
I'm out.
All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Peace out. Love you, bro.
Wow.
Ciao. That's how you do that. You just leave the room hard. I don't mean, you know what I mean. It's a hard cut out. Just leave the room. Just exit. Here's where you find him on the YouTube. Here's the B12 store. Here's Andy Jean, Mr. Andy Jean. And here's his link tree. All the links are in the description. And here is his fake book. I'm Jim Fannin. Peace, love, hug your neighbor. And what? Masking your children? Is that still a thing? If it's still a thing, stop doing that thing. It's not cool. I'm out.